There's a kind of trust that only childhood gives away freely, the kind that doesn't ask for proof, that simply assumes a world built for building must be safe to build in. Minecraft earned that trust before it earned almost anything else. Well over 300 million copies sold. A game where the worst thing that could happen to you was a creeper sneaking up from behind, and the entire point was making something out of nothing. A house, a farm, a castle, a friendship. Parents allowed it because there was nothing on the surface to disallow. No blood, no enemies with faces, just blocks and time and whatever a child decided to build with both. For a long time, that was the whole story. But scale changes things. Not the game itself. The game never really changed. What changed was who was standing just outside its walls, watching 100 million children log in every single day and realizing that a world with no violence in it can still be a world where nobody is watching the door. This isn't a story about a game turning bad. In almost every way, Minecraft is still exactly what it always was. This is a story about what happens when the safest room in the house is also the one with the most people walking through it. And some of them were never invited, because innocence doesn't usually fail on its own. It gets found. By the end of this video, you'll understand something uncomfortable, that the very things which made Minecraft feel safe, its openness, its trust in the player, its refusal to put walls around imagination, are the same things that made it impossible to fully protect. Let's go back to the beginning, back to when the world felt endless and endlessly safe. Minecraft did not look like danger. It looked like a box of digital Lego left open on the floor. When Marcus Notch Persson released it in 2009, there was no mission to complete and no one to defeat. There was only a world made of cubes and a player standing in the middle of it holding nothing. What happened next was entirely up to you. There was creative mode where you couldn't even die. There was survival mode where the only enemies were pixelated zombies and skeletons that despawned in daylight. Not villains with faces, not people, just shapes to be managed, not feared. Kids who had never touched a wire in real life built working calculators and roller coasters out of virtual dust and switches and narrated it to millions on YouTube who'd never even played the game themselves. Servers turned into small civilizations. Friendships formed with people you'd never met, organized around a shared world instead of a shared classroom. Schools started noticing. Teachers began using it to teach geometry, electricity, even Roman aqueducts. Microsoft eventually built an entire education-focused version around this trust. Minecraft, Education Edition, licensed into classrooms in over 100 countries. Parents noticed too. Here, finally, was a screen that didn't seem to be doing anything to their kids except letting them build. For years, that assumption held completely. But a world built for one person, then quietly open to everyone, changes in ways that are hard to reverse. Minecraft's multiplayer servers grew from small LAN parties among friends into massive anonymous public spaces, some hosting thousands of strangers at once, reachable from any device, any country, any hour of the day. Crossplay arrived, realms arrived, letting anyone rent a private world and invite whoever they wanted into it. Voice chat and text chat arrived, layered onto a game that had never been designed with content moderation in mind. Somewhere in that growth, Minecraft stopped being only a game. It became a social platform, wearing a game's clothing. And social platforms at that kind of scale cannot be supervised the way a living room can. A parent could watch their child build a house. A parent could not watch every conversation happening inside every server their child had ever joined, on every device, at every hour. The building blocks hadn't changed. The walls around the players had. And once a space is large enough that no single adult can see all of it at once, it stops being a question of whether someone bad will walk in. It becomes a question of when. The first cracks weren't hidden in some obscure corner of the internet. They showed up in courtrooms with dates attached. In January 2017, a Crown Court in Wales sentenced a 23-year-old man named Adam Isaac to 2 years and 8 months in prison. Isaac had used Minecraft to befriend 2 boys, aged 12 and 14, over several months, first inside the game, then on Skype, Snapchat, and text, sending them small amounts of money to keep them engaged. The judge was direct about what had happened. Contact began, he said, because they all played a game that is very popular with teenagers, an innocent site concerning construction, and what followed was, in his words, clearly all a grooming process. The 12-year-old had been playing at night while his parents slept in the next room. The NSPCC called it a reminder that grooming through gaming had become one of the major child protection challenges of the century. 3 years later and an ocean away, a Texas sheriff's deputy named Pasquale Salas was sentenced in Massachusetts to roughly 18 years in federal prison. Salas had met a 12-year-old girl through Minecraft's multiplayer mode back in 2014, and over the following years built what prosecutors described as a controlling and manipulative relationship with her, one that continued even after she tried to end it. In 2023, a second sentencing followed in Texas itself, 32 more years for producing and possessing child sexual abuse material, this time involving a relative. Salas had used his position as a law enforcement officer to threaten his victims into silence, telling one he had friends in the department who would never believe her. The prosecuting attorney's statement was blunt. Minecraft, a child's game, had been used to lure victims into what he called a vicious web. Neither man was a stranger who broke down a digital door. Both were patient. Both used the game exactly as it was meant to be used, as a place to build trust slowly, and then aimed that trust somewhere it was never supposed to go. These weren't isolated incidents either. In the years that followed, similar convictions surfaced across the UK, the US, and beyond. Adults using gaming currency, gifts, and in-game friendship as the opening move in a much older, much darker script. The pattern is what should trouble you more than any single case. Not a stranger in a dark alley, a familiar voice in a familiar world, patient enough to wait. Officially, Minecraft is owned and maintained by Mojang and Microsoft. Unofficially, most of what children actually experience happens somewhere Microsoft doesn't directly run, on one of hundreds of thousands of independently owned servers, each with its own rules, its own moderators, or none at all. Some of these servers are meticulously run, others are handed to a single teenager with admin privileges and no training in child safety at all, and to a child logging in, the interface looks the same either way. That patchwork has produced its own quieter harms too. Malware disguised as mods, data leaks exposing login credentials tied to accounts kids use elsewhere, and a persistent gap between what a platform this size should guarantee and what it actually can. By April 2026, that gap became a matter of law. Australia's e-safety commissioner issued legally enforceable transparency notices to Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite, and Steam, demanding each company explain, under legal compulsion, exactly how it detects and responds to grooming, sexual extortion, and extremist content. Commissioner Julie Inman Grant put it plainly: games are often a child's first point of contact with someone who intends them harm, and offenders then move children to private messaging services once that contact is made. Non-compliance carried penalties of up to 825,000 Australian dollars a day. Microsoft's response was careful and non-committal. A statement about evaluating the notice, reaffirming a safety commitment that regulators were now, for the first time, asking it to actually prove. If grooming was the first crack, what came next was something else entirely. Not one predator working alone, but a network built around the idea that children's platforms were simply the easiest door in the building. Law enforcement in the United States, Canada, Australia, and across Europe now use a specific term for it: 764, named, according to the FBI, after a Texas zip code connected to an early instigator.
Today I want to provide the Chicago community with information related to the group known as 764.
The Department of Justice describes it not as a single gang, but as an ideology.
Made up of individuals who seek to coerce and manipulate children into engaging in unspeakable acts against themselves, animals, and other children. In attempting to achieve 764's goal of destroying society, they typically exploit minors ranging from the ages of 10 to 17.
The pattern, according to FBI public warnings, investigators, and court filings, is consistent enough to be almost procedural. Contact begins somewhere ordinary: a Minecraft or Roblox server, a shared interest, a friendly message. Trust is built, sometimes over weeks, sometimes posing as a romantic interest. Then the victim is moved somewhere less visible: Discord, Telegram, and the relationship changes shape. What was friendship becomes leverage. In Hässelby, Sweden, in September 2024, a 14-year-old using the alias Slain, also known as Slain764, who investigators linked to the 764 network and its affiliated group No Lives Matter, stabbed an elderly man in the street. He had earlier attacked a woman in the same area. Both attacks were filmed and circulated on Telegram. Because he was under 15 at the time, Swedish law prevented a criminal conviction. He was instead placed into state care. And in Germany, prosecutors in Hamburg have charged a man known online as White Tiger with murder as an indirect perpetrator in connection with the 2022 death of a 13-year-old American boy. Prosecutors allege the man, linked to the 764 network, coerced and watched events unfold over a live stream. It is the kind of ending no parent checking a child's screen time was ever taught to look for. None of this happened because Minecraft or Roblox wanted it to. It happened because a network built on manipulation went looking for the easiest possible door and found that a game trusted by parents everywhere was, for its purposes, exactly that. Sometimes the danger didn't come from someone hunting children. Sometimes it came from something stranger: the sheer size of the community itself, colliding with real-world consequences nobody could have predicted. In April 2023, American authorities began investigating one of the most serious leaks of classified military intelligence in a generation: documents on the war in Ukraine, troop positions, and intelligence capabilities. Investigators traced the source to a small private Discord server. From there, the documents spread, including through a larger Discord community built around Minecraft, which is why the leak became known in the press as the Minecraft leak. Its source was a 21-year-old Massachusetts Air National Guardsman named Jack Teixeira. In November 2024, he was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. 6 years earlier, in May 2017, a different kind of collision happened in a Tampa apartment shared by 4 young men. Devin Arthurs shot 2 of his roommates dead and held hostages at a nearby smoke shop, later telling police he had done it to stop a domestic terror plot. The 3 had been members of a small neo-Nazi cell called Atomwaffen Division, and bomb-making materials were later found in their home. Arthurs, by his own account and later reporting, had reached the abrupt religious conversion that triggered the killings partly through people he'd connected with over Minecraft. He was sentenced to 45 years, and in a case that had nothing to do with Minecraft specifically, but everything to do with what online gaming communities have become. A 23-year-old named Menhaz Zaman confessed to killing 4 members of his own family in a Toronto suburb in 2019. Not to police first, but to friends on a Discord server built around a different online game entirely. Those gaming friends, some of whom had never met him in person or knew his real name, spent hours trying to track down his address in real time, working with strangers across different countries to alert police. It is not a Minecraft story, but it is the same shape of story that Minecraft's own enormous Discord-linked communities now live inside every day. Proof that the friendships built inside a game are real enough to carry real consequences, for better and for worse. The building of extremist content has followed its own disturbing thread too. Researchers at organizations including GNet and RUSI have documented what they call gamified radicalization, extremist actors using Minecraft's construction tools to recreate propaganda imagery and mock attack scenarios, treating the game's openness as a free, richly detailed canvas. In one widely reported Russian case, a teenager was convicted on terrorism charges after using the game to depict an attack on a security service building. Elsewhere, the exploitation has been economic rather than ideological. Before Mojang formally banned blockchain integration in 2022, a wave of unofficial play-to-earn servers had briefly built cryptocurrency economies on top of Minecraft's open world, the kind of arrangement that, on other gaming platforms in lower-income countries, has been reported to draw young people into working long hours for a handful of dollars a day. And child safety officials in several countries, Mexico among them, have separately flagged gaming platforms, Minecraft included, as one of the places children most often first make contact with an adult stranger online, long before anything resembling danger is visible to anyone watching from the next room. And yet, the very same openness that let all of this happen has also, in other hands, built something genuinely good. In Cochabamba, Bolivia, in a neighborhood called Barrios Unidos that had 4 schools and nowhere for its children to safely play, local kids spent weeks inside Minecraft designing the public park their neighborhood didn't have, laying out playgrounds, a skating rink, an outdoor gym, block by block, alongside urban planners from Save the Children and the United Nations. Their design was reviewed, adjusted for safety, and folded into the city's actual municipal budget. Somewhere in Bolivia, there may eventually be a park with swings and a skate ramp that exists because a group of children decided inside the same simple building game what safe and theirs should look like. This is proof that Minecraft itself was never the danger and never the cure. It was just a door open to whoever found it first. The blocks never changed. What walked through it did.